Mamano, my people. This is in 3 of Amin. And in this session, we'll expose a very dangerous trend happening in most of our communities. How false prophets have captured our community leadership and how some community leaders have become their disciples. How they move around, continue to dismantle sacred places and shrines in our various communities. The message is not against any particular person. It is against spiritual ignorance, spiritual manipulation, religious blackmail, and the selling of community destiny for private blessing. We will discuss this question under the following headings. Number 1, the prophetic capture of power. Number 2, the thread between the pulpit and the throne. Number 3, the consequences on community development. Number 4, the propaganda of the pulpit. Number 5, the way forward, restoring prophetic integrity and community reason. Number 1, the prophetic capture of power. In most of our communities today, false prophets, pastors, and native doctors have infiltrated the community leadership. They use what they call community deliverance. They begin with false prophecies that God has revealed to them that some members of the community have done something spiritually wrong and against the members of the community. They usually give these prophecies to the youth or women group. The community leadership, out of fear, will succumb to the blackmail of the false prophets and their agents. In most cases, the community leadership is harassed to submission that they are forced to incorporate these religious leaders or their agents into the leadership of the community. Thereafter, resulting that most of the community decisions, whether business, politics, or career or developmental projects, are made after the community leader visits the prophet or pastor or spiritual father for permission before these decisions on those projects regarding the community is carried out. Most times when they go, they kneel down, they sow seed, they perform rituals, they receive prophecy, and in some cases, they are forced or deceived into doing acts that compromise their traditional authority and expose them to perpetual manipulation. So in this way, power is shifted from the traditional rules and laws of the land to the altar manipulation of deceptive church leaders or native uh, doctors or diviners. This makes some of the community leaders to be confused or who or what to follow, whether the traditions of the community, the principles of their religious leader, the local government edicts, state laws, the constitution, or the directives of their spiritual directors. The rule of law or the traditions are replaced by the voice of prophet of the false spiritual director. Our people say that where a man puts his money, there his God dwells. So when community leaders, businessmen, professionals, and politicians start funding prophets instead of projects, it begins to, those prophets begin to control them, and it means that their God has changed and the community and people will suffer the consequences. 2, the thread between the pulpit and the throne. There is now an unholy alliance between the pulpit and the throne in most communities. False prophets trade prophecies for recognition and control, and they give spiritual endorsement to community leaders in exchange for material blessings and recognition. The false prophets use the same style to capture even some political leaders. They send their agents to political leaders with a prophecy and thereafter manipulate the politician. They make millions of money from politicians for pulpit endorsements during election. Some of organized, some of them organized what they call prayer warriors for the politicians. They raise teams of prayer warriors for the candidates in election, and if any candidate who played along with them wins the election, they have won jackpot. Once in power, such a person who play along, once he gets into power, the businessmen, they become businessmen with him. They become spiritually enslaved to this prophet. So decisions, any decision the leader or the professional or the politician does, must be based on the directives of the spiritual leader. So he has to, consult the spiritual leader before he does any any decision, any major decision that will affect the community. So community projects and budgets are discussed after prophetic visions, not maybe economic analysis or for thorough investigation and research. So when such a person, a leader or political leader or a king, becomes a slave to a spiritual leader that is not interested in the development of the place, the community suffers. People even say that when a king belongs to a priest, truth disappears from the land. What it means is that a king is not supposed to belong to be a slave to a priest. A king is supposed to know the principles of his religion and live by those principles. That's it. So number 3, the consequences on community development. When leaders are ruled by fear of prophets instead of love of truth, creativity, reason, latest scientific discoveries and economic principles, the community becomes spiritually and economically paralyzed. The truth is, these leaders are afraid of blackmail. They are afraid of the spiritual or religious leaders raising false prophecies against them. So because of it, they agree to follow them. So, in these modern times when technology is helping every community to develop, most of these communities are paralyzed. We have policy paralysis. Instead of engaging their sons and daughters who are economics, who are engineers, sociologists, agricultural engineers, and the leaders, they hire prayer warriors. They go for these pastors and they continue to deceive and distract the attention of the leaders, the community leaders. So some of these political leaders or some of these pastors show corruption because what they're interested in is in seed money. They're interested in the tithe and offering that is given to them. So they are not interested in whether the community leader is upright, is leading and serving the people well. They encourage people to sow seed. So that's what they're interested. Where the seed comes from is not important to them. And in that way, a very important factor that helps community development, accountability, is allowed to die. Every failure, of the leadership is explained with spiritual warfare. And the pastor or the prophet, the false prophet or the diviner will now raise enemies who have caused whatever the community leader has done wrong, who has caused it spiritually. So in such a way, accountability becomes a problem. The false prophet will continue to create imaginary enemies for the community, making it difficult for the community to follow standards, you know, standard procedures to serving the community. And when the people complain, they are hushed down. The, the, the religious leaders will raise other use the scriptures to support their positions and stop people from looking into what is happening in the community. So our people have said it uh, that as we are talking about this today, anybody who has ears, let him hear. And anybody who has ears but refuses to hear reason will lose his way. Will lose his way. So the truth is, we should stand up. We should stand up against these false prophets. Stand up against these false prophets, and challenge them. So number 4, the propaganda of the pulpit. False prophets are not only spiritual manipulators; they are expert psychologists. They play on the psyche of the members of the community. They understand that the average person is emotionally dependent. So they mix their preaching with politics, with prophecy to capture public sentiment. They try to follow the public sentiment and then use it to their advantage. They predict disasters, they manipulate fear, and they declare imaginary enemies of the community. And in such a way, they divide the community. They divide even families. They come for those their deliverance in the families and destroy family. They come for deliverance in the villages and destroy the communities. They pretend to speak for God while secretly serving their selfish material interests. This is how community narratives are shaped through spiritual deceit. And many people follow blindly because they mistake charisma for character. So most of our people follow them blindly, and it's a real problem. You see, some people who are well-to-do, some people who have gone to school, following illiterate false religious leaders who are deceiving the people. You know, most times you see they have their programs during the time people are supposed to work. Wednesdays, they have programs. Wednesdays, they have program almost every day, stopping people, discouraging people from going to do work. Preaching to them what is not what is written in the Bible. So, people should know that preaching good speech without good action is a lie. You cannot be preaching to people, discouraging them from doing work and raising their standard of living, and then you expect them to do well. So the way forward, number 5, the way forward, restoring prophetic integrity and community reason. The time has come for true spiritual reform, not through the arguments, but through awareness. We need to put into communities certain structures that will help us reclaim what our communities used to be before colonialism. You know that all these problems started after colonialism. So we need to intentionally set up structures that will help counteract it. When we look at our communities now, majority of the youths engage in drugs, and a good number of them engage in cult activities. These are all results of the destabilization of our communities by agents of colonialism, agents of the Western people who came and distorted our heritage. I think, and it is my position, that for us to really make good move and cause development in this our area, we need to really sit down and intentionally put up this structure. The examples that we give for where colonialism went and they are doing well now, and we have not captured them well. China is doing well because China refused to destroy their culture. India is doing well because India refused the colonialists to destroying their culture. So our own were defeated by the colonial powers, and after the defeat, we like left everything, tried to follow the white man, understand them. And culture is not something, and tradition is not something that you just learn over some few years. That's the bedrock of our problem. So for us to counter it, those of us who are community leaders, who are traditional rulers, we need to put up structures that will bring back or modernize our traditional setting, that will provide for teaching our young ones, teaching them spiritual discernment. Let citizens learn that God speaks through conscience and truth, not through manipulation. Let our Igbo people believe that everybody is equal in the face of God. So we need to get our children to know that. And anybody who comes and tell you that is a special person, that has special prayers to make, that person is a fraud. We need to establish, we need to know, we need to be liberated ourselves. We need to study the scriptures that even in the Bible, it is not said, there's nowhere it is said that anybody is higher than the other person. The Bible said that I come that you may have life and have in abundance. And Jesus told the people he was talking to, he was preaching to, that you are gods. He didn't say, oh, this person you are God, and then it is this person that is not God. So this is something we need to teach to our people and know, so that these swindling people are doing them, they will stop. They should know, teach them to know that it is the power that is in them that is opening doors and working for them. It is what they actually need is a organization. All they need is education, and they'll be lifted up. So we need to reform our political culture too. Community, we have political culture that will be reformed from the communities. Leaders must separate faith from, politics, from fanaticism. Let religion guide morality, and religion should not guide policy making and implementation. We should raise up these things, and from very young age begin to teach our children about civic education. So reclaim community wisdom. Number three, we have to reclaim community wisdom. Traditional rulers, elders, and thinkers must rebuild moral authority in society. And the way to build moral authority is to know what what behavior and characters are based on. What behaviors and characters are based on is our belief system, our thinking, what we think, and our feelings, and maybe our activities and emotions. So we look at those things. What does we study the scriptures that they are the Bible or the Quran that they are using now to teach the people. We study them as religious traditional rulers. We should know these things, know those scriptures, know them very well. We should know our own traditions, and then bring out something from it that is acceptable to everybody. You know, so like I said, we educate our youth. We should create educational program in our communities to teach critical thinking. You know, teach, teach our people our traditional history, make them to know. Because like the place that I come from, they used to be warriors. They are strong and intelligent people. You tell your people, they know that your ancestors were strong people. They are warriors. They were intelligent philosophers. And so when they know these things, that they will know that they should not be, because our people say the leopard does not born uh, a fearful child. So we we are great people. So that's what type of things we need to teach. Establish some traditional ways of learning that will get our people, our youth, to imbibe these philosophies, this history. Uh, so we so that they don't fall for every televised miracle and then become prey to false prophets. So we need to get our people to know that, and they know that they don't be afraid of anybody. The man of a true spirit that The Igbo man who has true speech should not be afraid of anybody, even the wicked man. If you know you are an Igbo man, you are an Amini man, and you know who you are, don't be afraid of anybody. You stand on the truth. You stand on your principles and you keep moving. You know. So a true prophet challenges corruption. That is another way to test test the prophets that you are relating with. If this prophet is condoning corruption, you know he's not a true prophet. So you should know how to deal with him. You shouldn't dine with him because it will be very dangerous. That person who knows all the scriptures and is still using it to swindle people is more dangerous than the armed robber moving on the street with gun, who knows not the scriptures. A true leader seeks counsel from wisdom, not from prediction. So, as community leaders, we should not go and be looking for diviners to tell us how to serve our community. We should read books. We should study the scriptures if we are afraid of it, to know the basis of the religion, those religion. And then not looking for prophecy, the way we should serve our people. So, my brothers and sisters, the destiny of our communities cannot be bought with seed money. You cannot just go and give a false prophet seed money and then there will be development, there will be all the things you want in your community. No, it's not possible. We need to get our people to know that the voice of God is not for sale and that the soul of our people, our community, our country, Africa is not for rent. I know that, like the Bible says, you speak, though that you are a child of God. No, speak as if you are the voice of God, the oracle of God. So no person's voice is stronger than the other. Until our leaders, stop kneeling before false prophets and start standing for truth, we'll continue to deceive ourselves that we are spiritually rich, that we remain developmentally and economically poor, and we continue to give excuses. So the situation I'm saying that the situation we find ourselves is complex. We need to be true to it. And for us to really change it, we need to invest so much in the education of very young persons from 0 to say 10 years. Invest so much in their education. Homeschool children. When children are born, they should be at home with their parents. We should have laws that will stop their parents from leaving them alone, be with their home with the children for at least 6 years before they will be qualified to go to school, to go to any school. So if it's possible to scrap all these nursery, kindergarten, all those daycare, we scrap them so that parents should be with their children and provide for their children for the first 6 years of life before they begin to go to public school. So let us return to conscious spirituality. We have faith serves truth and religion serves humanity. This is this discussion is from the throne of Amin. I remain His Royal Highness Eze Pharmacist Emeka Obunna in the tree of Amin. May wisdom, not deception, guide our politics, guide our service to the people, guide our relationship with our people, that we may know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Thank you.